PINKROID or HANZELOT. Sam, say, let's go, baby. Here we go.
Here we go. I am Speed, they are Speed. Who will be speedy enough to book their ticket to the Europe Cup in Paris? HANZELOT or PINKROID? Pre-bans coming in. Tian Lang on the side of HANZELOT and Han on the side of PINKROID, say.
Both signature units. The most used LD5 of PINKROID being banned. Tian Lang makes a lot of sense. HANZELOT, once again, respecting that Han. Definitely does make sense as well. PINKROID, you're not gonna look at it. Don't do me like that, PINKROID. I know you want to. It fits very well in one of those later moments in the draft, but actually goes for the steal of that cigar, which I do agree with a lot more than an Antares first pick.
Yeah.
HANZELOT, how do you respond to your own units? Do you still go for that Yeonhong, Tomoe, or actually do you start picking up a different style there right away?
Yeah, if you've had a unit stolen from you, you might have to think a little bit more outside of the box, deciding to still take the other two, Oliver and Yeonhong.
Yeah, Oliver Yeonhong actually does, I'm not gonna lie, it does signal into somewhat more and more of an Antares pick. I do think that PINKROID is also playing the mind games. Like in the end, drafting is all about the mind games. HANZELOT does know like, ooh, those two units that I just picked are actually dangerous to be Antares about. And just bringing that Antares up back and back again does keep HANZELOT on the back foot of saying like, okay, I have to have a counter for it somewhere in slot 3 and 4 probably. However, PINKROID just showing the comfortable units of that Moor and that Carnal.
Yeah, that's kind of signature with PINKROID. Ooh, we're going to see Salah again, though. Say he was super effective in that last match for HANZELOT.
Yeah, definitely a super effective unit, but that definitely did work well, pretty well because of that Han. That Han speed lead, therefore boosting up at the other dark unit, makes it up very strong. We do have a different speed lead right there, but that gives PINKROID the potential to go for counters of the passives. And that's going to be the Maewang and Juno, which I both really like as picks right here. HANZELOT, how do you answer that? You could go either or route. I think PINKROID already decided whatever you bring fifth, I probably will ban it. Dumon, definitely an interesting one, but Dumon is mostly more picked into units that have more sustain, countering out that sustain. So I don't even think that PINKROID has to be too scared of that Dumon, but let's see if he still goes for that last pick. Does go for that last pick ban, and we see the Juno ban.
Exactly, and like we said, the speed, they've both taken speed leads. As we get into match 2 of the semi-finals, set number 1, HANZELOT versus PINKROID. Oh, let's go, say.
Yeah, we definitely have HANZELOT going with that first turn, and we do see that all of PINKROID's units are being outsped as of this case. Big question is going to be, can you control all of the units good enough? We definitely have the potential with that Tomoe to actually spread everything. But that Maewang, the Maewang is going to be the main unit that can bring everything back from PINKROID. So that's definitely a unit we're going to look out for. On the other side, there's a bunch of units that you can start dealing the damage on. Probably focusing that Yeonhong first is the way to go. Did not land anything on that Moor. Can it go for any procs or any stunts? Did not get any of those.
Oh, but Tomoe responds back and gives one back to him, say.
Yeah, definitely the Sun over there. The Monkey does have Karma, so definitely will not go for skill 2. But that is a lot of damage from that Maewang. And the Maewang, I'm not entirely sure, probably is pretty close to max stacks already. Yep, it is max stacks right now. It also is a Vio Ryu right now. So definitely going to be seeing like, okay, can that Yeonhong do enough?
Oh.
Okay, once more a Vio, but the big question is, cannot get the stun. The Monkey really needed that stun on that Yeonhong right there to actually be able to get anywhere. Still, the Monkey doesn't see too much of issues of like keeping that going. We have a lot of speeds right now. We have the 100 crit rate probably, and we keep stacking in the damage at some point. Exactly. We do, however, have that healing from Yeonhong.
Exactly. Do you think that HANZELOT needs to start getting rid of this Monkey quick? I mean, it's already full stacks, but...
it is very difficult. You have to kind of control the whole battlefield while keeping the Monkey in mind. But the only thing that you can actually control it with are silences and potentially cooldown resets and karma
as well.
Yeah, the karma suppression. But in this case, decided to give the Monkey the skill 2 because the Oliver actually moved but didn't do anything. I think that is slightly of a misplay because if this Monkey moves double right now, that would have been your Yeonhong off the field.
She's just about surviving right now, and it's for Oliver to try and give her and buy her some more time.
Yeah, in this case, does go for the Monkey on the cooldown reset. I should have done it last turn because now the unit is not looking too lively with that armor break coming up. I don't think Yeonhong has the skill 3 available yet, so that is definitely something that will be killed by this Monkey when it moves next.
Yeah, you can see it's going to be moving next. It will take the kill.
16k damage
right now, say.
Yeah, that's 16k damage, and to be honest, the longer the fight takes, the more the monkey will do, and you actually have to start tumbling damage into that monkey, but it is very difficult as well. Actually, the monkey seems to be somewhat on the squishy side. The Salah was doing quite some damage already. This spread might be very good. Heal block is definitely a very interesting thing for the monkey as well, because the monkey skill 2 has healing. It has a lot less potential for cycling. The monkey definitely needs a procer right now if he wants to get rid of those debuffs. If he doesn't get that, does get the stunner though, but the monkey is still kind of on the back foot with all of those debuffs. You cannot go for that skill. Does get rid of the debuffs though, but is very low on the HP, but so are the units on the enemy side already.
Yeah, he's going very close right now. Does Salah have a response now? Can he get a stun? Or didn't?
No stun, but once again, that heal block is showing so much potential. Once again, the suppression is coming in, so much potential. This monkey is showing lower and lower on the HP. The pushbacks, we actually have the Tomoe moving next. If you tumble in this damage into the monkey, you might get a small critter. This damage might actually kill this monkey right here, right now. Doesn't.
He survives, say.
Survives by this. Oh, this skill 2, a lot of damage, but the monkey, you kind of have to... You need an S1 procer S2. If it doesn't happen right now, I think it is game for the monkey. Yeah. That would be too much damage to handle, I think. The monkey has been surviving on the sliver of health, but that is the end of the monkey.
Oh, and a stun just to add into insult for Pinky. I mean, what do you think went wrong then for Pinky? Because we're saying it now. Maybe he can come back with it, but... I think it's highly likely, right?
You could proc on this right now, maybe start doing a lot of damage. I don't really expect it too much. I think in this case, a Water Ryu that is on this pair would have had a lot more value. The Fire procs that it took didn't do all too much, because the Fire procs that the Water Ryu took actually took away the Fire procs that the monkey might have taken. And the monkey taking those procs, any proc on that monkey would have sealed the deal. Stepping twice with that pole arm that he has would have done so much damage and actually sealed the deal on that match. And that's also the thing where you kind of have to discuss, like, okay, how do I ruin my units? Certain units, if they take a proc, do they maybe take away that proc chance of another unit? And that's maybe slightly disbeneficial rather than beneficial for me.
Yeah, for sure. And it's these types of small things that people are all thinking about all the way through when you're at the highest level, right? The smallest difference can mean a huge thing for the game. We see here now HANZELOT with the 1-0 lead against PINKROID in this semi-finals match 2 set 2. It means that Han and Tianlang are back in the game for this set. Who do you think might be pre-banned out on this one then, say?
I would guess for the Yeon Hong, because it's very much picked up by HANZELOT. Other side more. Those are both signature units from the opposing player, and definitely well respected that as well. First pick to HANZELOT probably will go into maybe either contesting the Cigar to make sure that he has that, or going for that Oliver.
Let's see if you're correct. He's opting for Vanessa speed lead.
Vanessa speed lead, definitely option as well. Vanessa speed lead is actually a very good option when you have that Han available. However, Han is also hard counted by that Tianlang, so that definitely might be picked up. We do know, however, that Tianlang is better in the 3rd or 4th slot rather than slapping it in slot 1 or 2. So we have that Oliver, just an overall general unit with a Miles.
Here we go then, Oliver and Miles. Miles not being used to too much effect today in our Europe preliminaries, and it answered straight away with Han and Cigar.
Yeah, definitely one of those muscle memory picks that we see on the side of HANZELOT. He played so many matches in the last season, definitely knows his ways around these units, and definitely goes for that Han plus Cigar on those picks. Other side, we have... Okay, going more on the safe route, trying to go for the cooldown increases, plus that Raccoon. You could answer that in a whole bunch of ways, but I think HANZELOT will still go for its comfortable picks, probably adds in the Tomoe, probably adds in anything more along the lines what he has been using quite some. He does have a whole bunch of other LDs that he hasn't been shown yet. Did not expect an LDS in the form of Asher, but I definitely do expect another speed lead right next to this.
Yeah, it's definitely signaling that he wants to go first, right? Oh, Lima to pair up with as well, sir.
Okay, interesting. It's kind of a strange pick, I would say. Mainly because, well, it is super hard counted by Juno. PINKROID definitely does know that. But in this case, it is harder for HANZELOT to go anywhere with the draft, because you're kind of forcing that ban on the Oliver if you want to properly outspeed. PINKROID has it in his hand saying like, okay, I can choose right now whether you play turn 1 or turn 2. And giving that away from HANZELOT of going 2 units without the speed lead is slightly worse, I would say.
Here we go, accuracy lead for HANZELOT and the speed lead coming in from PINKROID as we go into set 2 of the semi-final, match number 2. Let's see how this one goes down, say.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very impactful. What can this segment do? The segment does not land it, so you can only control potentially one unit. Big issue, however, is did not stun as well, and now we have all of the units of HANZELOT moving next. You can go for a start of the end. That definitely would say, okay, we still have that Cigar for that skill 3 going in right now, and we have that Han with a lot of potential right now to go for the upset to destroy one of the units of PINKROID.
Oh, he goes in for Sekhmet. Can he do... Oh, that's a lot, but Raccoon's coming to save the day.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. We go for the second chance on that Sekhmet due to that Raccoon. Raccoon also going for some great healing. Interestingly enough right now, if Sekhmet lands her skill 3, she will get so many buffs. With those so many buffs, her skill 3 will be on cooldown right again. Can be used once more. Currently, the damage output is slightly less of HANZELOT for a little bit of time, but it will come out back up pretty soon. Once again, there's so many buffs for Sekhmet to be stealing, but actually goes for the one buff simply because I want to reset that Han, which is definitely a high value unit as well.
Huge strip as well coming out from Lima as we go into Cigar. He's got second skill available. Gets the defense break and procs.
Definitely a nice defense break right there, plus the provoke that is sticking right there. That is a lot of damage going into that Miles right now, and the Miles might actually leave the battlefield. Gets the proc, gets rid of the armor break. Definitely helpful right there. Is this Lima able to do enough damage? However, the Lima stripped and the Oliver starts controlling Oliver. Can we do Oliver things, or are we going to start missing? We have Curse of the Death. How many armor breaks? That's what we're looking at. We got 3 high value armor breaks right there. Lima, you definitely have to start cleansing that off pretty soon, or otherwise units are looking dire. But we have to proc on the Cigar, pushing back all units potentially. This is so much value going in there, and that's definitely a desirable outcome for HANZELOT.
Yeah, as we move into Han, the heal block was preventing Escher, but Miles down, sir.
Miles down, that's a lot of damage. I'm not entirely sure if PINKROID has a damage Oliver. I don't really think so. Most of these Olivers these days are high tanky, 100% resistance, and that is not what PINKROID needed in this case. He needed something with a little bit more juice, a little bit more damage. We did miss one of those skills with the segment. Once again, goes for the retry. Retry does actually land it. If it would have crit, it would have actually done a lot more. But this is very much an uphill battle of the Lima, the Escher, and the Cigar into 2 fire units. The 2 fire units are going to be on the struggling side with that. An option could be Charming Voices, landing that multiple times, landing the heal block, and that could definitely still be a winning factor for PINKROID. However, that Lima, 1.5k is not the highest of additional damage artifact, but definitely is a decent amount of additional damage artifact. And we have that heal block. That heal block is super important. Would have been nicer if there was actually a armor break as well. The unit would have probably died. But in this case, decides to live a little bit longer. Cigar, if we proc right now, could be devastation. Does get that proc. Do we push back the Raccoon? It's a 50-50. Does not land the pushback on the Raccoon. And the segment is mainly going to go for that Lima. Lima might leave the battlefield pretty soon as well.
Wow, this is going from one end to the other at the moment, Safe. Sekhmet's got anything to say about it?
Yeah, Segment is definitely doing a lot of work, but we do have that Escher that's moving faster than that Raccoon. Raccoon definitely has to go for more of its cleansers for those heals. In this case, where do you place the Charming Voice? Goes for the Escher, that is the sustainer. That is also the heavier damage dealer of the two. But still, is this going to be enough damage? I think that HANZELOT might be lacking damage if the Massacre does not come up. We have that procer from... Do we have enough damage if you crit? We don't have enough damage if you crit, and we have the Raccoon, the cycling. We have a lot of turns going potentially here. Armor break, if this armor breaks lands, does not land the armor break both sides. That's actually kind of on the back foot for PINKROID once again. But the Raccoon with the procers, at some point it's gonna be there, and look at that HP of Segment. And all suddenly Segment was like, I was low HP? I'm not low HP, I have a Raccoon next to me. And the Raccoon does so much work, and it's actually the comeback of just a Raccoon and a Segment. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why you never leave a match. Always play it out. There's always that potential that you can say, like, I have not that many units left on the field, but these units can make it work. The Raccoon is so much healing. The Segment, chip damage, left, right, center, cooldown increases. Everything was just there, and slowly but surely taking out the units of HANZELOT and giving the victory to PINKROID.
Wow, what an up and down there from Pinky. He managed to pull that all the way through with Raccoon and Segment. It's just like what you said, sir. Never give up, or for SWC this year, prove yourself, guys. These are proving themselves to be the top level players that we have over here in Europe, and PINKROID and HANZELOT are both demonstrating that. As we move into the set number 3, we go back to a Tian Lang ban, and this time a Han ban. Does that mean we're going to see that Yon Hong again, right, sir?
Yeah, we're definitely going to see that Yon Hong again, and I definitely would say that PINKROID's first pick is going to determine a lot in this match, because you could go for a steal right now, in stealing one of the units on the side of HANZELOT, or you could simply go for saying like, okay, steals, and in this case the Oliver, which is also a very comfortable pick for PINKROID. However, HANZELOT still goes for that Vanessa, still goes for that Cigar. The Yon Hong is coming in later, PINKROID knows that. How do you answer? Goes for the Raccoon Miles. We haven't seen the combination being picked up too much, but definitely a very strong combination that we see in all regions. With the Yon Hongs being slapped in, what are we gonna go for next?
Yeah, it's up to HANZELOT to decide now, right? The Yon Hong is on there, his kind of signature trio have been picked apart from the Han because it was pre-banned. And that's maybe his holy trinity. The Dooman, who got banned out last time, is considering to take through.
Dooman is definitely very good because Oliver takes a lot of cycling, a lot of turns. The Raccoon takes a lot of cycling, a lot of turns. Curse of Death will actually say like, okay, you take a lot of turns, but in 4 you're out of the battlefield, or even less than that if they're lower HP already. Answered by a segment, it is an option. I would say that Juno also has some potential, but to be honest, I wouldn't even be against an Antares right here, right now.
You've called it, but let's see if it actually does go through, right? Because like you said, the Dooman with that Curse of Death, however, it can go away if you kill her. So will the Robo be enough? Oh, Douglas?
Douglas, and I definitely do like that Douglas, because with the whole pick of PINKROID, especially that Robo, it was saying a lot of, okay, I'm going to ban either the Speed Lead or the Yon Hong, I'm going to outspeed you. With the Douglas on the field, you actually have the potential of saying like, I'm not entirely sure about the draft. On the other side, the Miles does have a lot of potential of still killing that Douglas, plus the Shizuka skill 1 has a lot of potential of killing that Douglas as well. So Douglas might feel very nice, but you can actually leave it in. And that is what PINKROID does as well. We have the ban on the Vanessa and the ban on the Miles.
Wow, we go in with PINKROID with speed lead and obviously attack lead for HANZELOT's Douglas. Let's see if it's going to prove to be beneficial during this third set of our match 2 in the semi-finals.
Yeah, in this case, I definitely do think it is going to be the match of how well can you control the Douglas. But once again, we have seen that Sekhmet not landing her third skill. It's so crucial that she keeps landing those third skills. Plus, you have the potential right now. You can boost up the Cigar. Cigar can reset the Robo. And that makes this game look very difficult already.
Does get a provoke as well, also on the Raccoonian Sekhmet. Oliver's looking okay, but Dooman's going to be coming very soon, say.
Yeah, the Dooman is probably attempted to land that on the Raccoon. Does he go for the Raccoon? You can't see. Goes for the Sekhmet, interestingly enough. Moment you kill the Raccoon, you get rid of pretty much all of the potential. However, it is interesting to go for that Sekhmet because the Sekhmet has that attack break that is maybe pretty straightforward, a hard counter to that Douglas. If you get that off the field, it is pretty much a clean match for HANZELOT, I would say, because in the end we can go back and forth a lot. If that Sekhmet is off the field, there's absolutely no way you can get rid of that Douglas, which is in this case the Fire Ryu.
Exactly, that Douglas is just going to be revenging all the time and healing against 2 wind units and even a Raccoon not doing any damage. Smart play, right? Get rid of the Sekhmet and then just let your Douglas do the rest. Yeah,
definitely. And in this case, I do think that PINKROID had a pretty right draft. The only big issue was, once again, that Sekhmet. You have those odds of saying like, okay, if I don't land it right now, my whole game is over. And PINKROID knows that, and he's just deciding, okay, let's test the rivers. Let's see how much this Douglas actually hits for. And from there, we're gonna go probably into the next round.
Exactly. We've taken the win for HANZELOT. PINKROID now down 2-1. It is going to be potentially a deciding set with set 4 for HANZELOT. If he wins this set, he will be going all the way through to Paris for our Europe Cup. And the loser will be going and joining us next weekend in the losers bracket. However, it's crunch time for both of these guys. What do you think they do, sir?
I definitely do think that the second draft for PINKROID is more favorable. The one where he can actually have his Tian Lang and not necessarily picking the Tian Lang, but having the Tian Lang potentially on the field is a lot more difficult to draft against than just saying simply, okay, that unit is not on the field, cannot be played, it is bad. Also, that Yon Hong has really been the playmaker of HANZELOT's full draft. It's not actually the Han that is doing a lot, it's the Yon Hong. That is the real playmaker, boosting up that Cigar, pushing everything down. HANZELOT, do you go once again for that Vanessa comfortable pick?
Yeah, let's see. It is seemed to be picked. Will he lock it in order to then... deciding maybe a change of mind here. No, we go for Vanessa.
Yeah, was maybe deciding of stealing that Oliver. That could be an option. We do see a steal from the Cigar here. I definitely do like to see that from PINKROID. Maybe would go for an Oliver as well, but probably fits more with the Moor right now. Otherwise you have double wind on the field, which both not do too much damage yet.
Yeah, exactly. Cigar, the signature unit of HANZELOT in his little trio with the Yonghon as well, obviously pre-banned out during this match, and deciding to partner it up with a Miles.
Miles, slightly different pace. We actually do see HANZELOT picking up that segment. Interestingly enough, I haven't seen that from HANZELOT yet, but that is probably something that PINKROID would pick up later. However, does that fit that well with your draft, with the Han probably coming in soon as well?
Yeah, exactly. You have to consider these things, right? He is going to be stealing that unit, but is it a steal for a good enough reason? He follows it up with his Han.
Yeah, in this case, PINKROID can definitely go for a Rakoni +1, and interestingly enough, a Jemire. Jemire is mainly the counter to that segment, because segment is trying to reset something. Jemire is most likely going to be swift, or Vio slightly moving in front of the rest of the team, saying like, okay, I was reset, or my friends were reset, my allies were reset, I'm going to restore that with his third skill, and adds up the Wusa, which is slightly of an early pick, definitely answered well by that Diana. If you have it ruined, a Dominic would be very dangerous for Pink right now as well.
Yeah, let's see if he does decide to take in some wind damage to try and deal with all of the Miles, the Wusa, the Jemaya, and also the Cigar. He's got a few more seconds to consider about it.
Yeah, definitely there's a few units right now that would do a lot of wind damage. Leo is also definitely an option for that. Does pair very well with Han as well, because Han is actually one of those few cyclists. Diana is a cycler, but that is a super hard counter to pretty much everything on the field right now that HANZELOT is showing, and that is that Kinky. Very well played by PINKROID, but very likely also be the focus of one of the bans. Let's see if he locks it in.
Ooh.
Goes for the Tianlang. Tianlang also very comfortable against Diana, but this is a very difficult ban, because if you leave the Diana in, like Diana and Tianlang kind of hard counter each other here. That's where you kind of decide and play the mind game, like, okay, do I leave it in, ban something else, you are gonna ban my Tianlang, or are you?
No, they both were very secure in their mind of what they were doing there. Boom, Leo out, Tianlang out, and here we go into set 4, the deciding match potentially for HANZELOT.
Yeah, this match we're definitely gonna look at the damage from the Diana and the damage of the Han. If those can dish enough, or if those can dish out enough damage, that's going to be very deadly for PINKROID. On the other hand, it is just the Miles doing the damage, but however it's just the Miles on damage, there is no actual sustain on the side of or there's no actual sustain on the side of HANZELOT, so the damage you do will stick.
Here we go. It was a proc there from Sekhmet, and now we're going into Vanessa. Does she want to land a defense break? She does get it on Jemaya.
Does get it on Jemaya. That's kind of like a forced thing of like, okay, you have to take a turn. Do you use your time of illusion? Your third skill does also get a proc. Let's see, do we get some attack breaks? That's a very valuable attack break. Diana, if you switch right now, there's a very good odds of being provoked. Decides to go for that stunner, which is definitely the better play right now. With a lot of damage, even though that attack break, there was still a lot of damage on that Cigar.
Yeah, we can see here Han, he's doing a lot of damage even with the attack break, but Miles is going to have an answer.
Miles, do you tumble in more damage into that Han, or do you start doing damage onto that Diana? Both of them are high value targets. The issue is, goes for the segment, strangely enough, but we have another proc on that segment. Pretty interesting to see a segment proc, and we also saw it just before, but most of the time segment is that swift unit. In this case for HANZELOT, he says it's high base speed, I can take it away on Vio.
Yeah, he's going for a different build here. Can he get nothing really there? He's going to heal Cigar up a little bit.
That was some good damage on that Wusa, hitting a 10.4k. That's definitely a lot of damage, but this is where we have the Diana cycling. If he gets rid of that Miles right now, that is a lot of damage loss on the side of PINKROID.
Oh, he managed to strip, but he didn't really do too much damage, and Cigar is still up.
Cigar is definitely skill up, so you kind of have to waste a skill left or right at some point to finish it off. You definitely do want to stun these Miles off right now. Probably not 100% resistance one, so it could have landed, but the Miles is still doing clean 8.5k as well, and we have that Cigar leaving the battlefield, and we have an armor break! That armor break plus another procker, that Sekhmet is actually taking a lot of double turns. That's pretty interesting to see.
Every single time, I think so. But
yeah.
Has Jemaya got an answer here?
Jemaya, you need to proc back on this one. You need to do a lot of damage, maybe kill that Diana off. will get an attack buff. Does get the procer as well. That's exactly what you needed. That procer might seal or at least save the units because we have that third scale up coming up. We have immunity, we have shields. We have that right before when the Han moves. Actually decides to go for the killer potential. He saw 10.4k before, thought he would kill. Didn't actually kill. Definitely did need that procer to save that Miles here. Miles would have been out of the field otherwise. That is an unfortunate procer for that Han because...
Oh my god!
I'm not sure what it is, but it is not 22%. We're going so much progress left, right, and center. Shizuka, show me one as well. What can you do? Do we go for a reset? Do we go for a killer? We have to get rid of that Miles.
Sekhmet lands, but this time no problem.
This time not, but we do have armor breaks once again landing, but that Han is gone right now, and that Miles is still gonna do quite some damage. Does not land the stunner, but once again gets that procer. This match is going so back and forth. We have 2 fire units against a very strong potential. Ooh, can we kill? Additional damage? We do kill. How much damage are we going to do on fire? Not too much. How much damage are we going to go the other way? Also not too much. S2 of Busa seals the deal. Does clean damage based off its HP. And that is probably game for PINKROID in a very much back and forth match that we just had here between PINKROID and HANZELOT.
Wow, yeah. I mean, it looks pretty safe, I would say, for Pinky to get through now. PINKROID going to be taking it to 2-2, which would take it to our deciding set, which is going to be not a repeat exactly, but of what happened in our last semi-finals. It seems like when it gets to the core moments, he should be okay, eh?
Yeah, he should definitely be okay. That Wusa S2 at some point would just seal the deal. It's clean damage. Yeah. We don't care about glancing, we don't care about armor breaks. It's just a lot of damage, and that's a victory for PINKROID. 2-2. So actually, for how many 2-0s we have seen in the previous rounds, both of the rounds right now, people have to fight for it to get their ticket in Paris, and that is what we all love to see.
That's how it should be, though, say, right? You need to earn your right to be there in Paris at the Europe Cup. These guys, you've got to beat the best. There's been some odd throws that have happened during these matches today, but we do see now HANZELOT and PINKROID in that decisive match. There's not going to be a Tian Lang or Han inside this set, but let's see who PINKROID goes for first. Is he going to go back to his Oliver?
Yeah, you could go back to the Oliver, but you could also go for the opposite way and take that Vanessa as a steal. That's definitely a valid pick as well. Let's see what PINKROID does. Going for the Moor is an option that PINKROID likes as a first pick, but it's not a steal and not really a contesting unit against HANZELOT. Does decide to take the Oliver. We probably all know the picks right now by HANZELOT, which is going to be that Vanessa, and most likely that Cigar. Actually, decides to give PINKROID the opportunity to give the Vanessa as well, interestingly enough.
That has left the door open, but will Pinky decide to open it and peer on through into HANZELOT's quest of getting into the Europe Cup? He's going to decide for an Etna here with the Moor if he locks it in.
Okay, so that definitely also signals of PINKROID saying, like, you can pick that Vanessa, I don't care all too much, we can deal with that at a later moment. But with that, let's see what it is on the next pick. I would say more fire units against that Athena is definitely beneficial. But HANZELOT's actually taking away his speed lead. Does he go for any other particular units that he would like to play right now? I would definitely say fire speed lead would fit here. Maybe Meowang is slightly too early. Rakuni is definitely an option. Marsha, also for sure an option.
Oh, he brings that Salah.
Going back to the Salah, I love to see it. On the other side, PINKROID, how do you answer? Juno is definitely a way to answer it because Salah doesn't really control where the passive is gonna go to. So therefore, Juno might be very impactful on that whole match. However, Juno might find the better end by just being damaged a lot by the Jian Hong. I would still say probably a Rakuni and a Juno. Actually decides to go Josephine and a Meowang, still having that bruiser in there. Josephine, I'm not too sure about because it can easily be... What are you actually... Okay, it's against the stunts of Salah, but besides that, I'm not too sure about the Josephine right there.
Yeah, hoping for quite a few of those, I guess. Hoping for the stuns. They were paying quite a good effect for HANZELOT in the previous match.
Yeah, definitely. HANZELOT definitely has to play around that Meowang, or probably banning it, because we have seen it in previous matches, which was a very similar draft where HANZELOT couldn't deal with the Meowang. So I would say banning it out definitely would favor him in this case. But Lima also does signal that you're probably not banning out that Meowang. So definitely curious to see what HANZELOT goes for the ban right here.
We're going to find out. They're probably going to think a long time about this, because remember, this is deciding match. Vanessa is going out and Etna going out.
Oh, that's very interesting. The big question is right now, is that Yeon Hong going to outspeed units that are on the 33 lead? We do have that resistance lead going in for the Yeon Hong, which might potentially make it more difficult for units like the Mei Wing and the Josephine to land anything.
Yeah, let's see as we get into the decisive set. HANZELOT versus PINKROID for that ticket to the Europe Cup.
And we have once again that insane Yeon Hong moving first, potentially boosting up that cigar. Once again, Yeon Hong is the playmaker, and it's going to reset the Josephine.
Does reset, but misses everything else, and Monkey's going to start taking turns, say.
Yeah, the Monkey's going to start taking turns, but in this case, we do have that Lima. But Lima is actually controlled right now by the Oliver.
Oh, big strip to get that for Oliver.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be pretty much in the favor of PINKROID right now. The big question is, can that Salah actually keep stunning the right units? But the moment that units are dropping to that Oliver, to that Mei Wang, this is looking very favorable for PINKROID in this moment.
It is, because Salah's going to be gone and Oliver's back to some turn cycling.
There was some turn cycling, but there was actually a resistance on the cooltime. So Oliver's gonna get one more skill off right now. Well, if he doesn't decide to leave the battlefield on that armor break. But he wouldn't have the actual potential to use the skills. But this Monkey is starting to deal so much damage already. However, the Monkey does have issues against that resistance lead, which we see coming in right now.
Yeah, but big stun onto Lima, and Cigar, does he have an answer? Manages to provoke Oliver, but Monkey, like you said...
The Monkey is doing so much damage, and definitely this whole draft was signaling into you have to be able to control that Monkey. The Lima was not the right answer for that, or you would have been able to ban out that Monkey, because the Monkey once again has shown to be very devastating for everything that HANZELOT brings here on the field, and this is looking very much in the victory of PINKROID.
Wow, PINKROID coming through against HANZELOT, who showed a very brave effort. But there we have it. PINKROID has secured his place through to the Europe Cup.
Yes, he has. He's gone and done it. He didn't make it easy.